Good morning and welcome to the weekly research breakdown by ChiroEdge. I'm your host, Dr. Anthony Pellegrino, and today we're going to be breaking down 3 different studies that we made newsletters for ChiroEdge about this week. One is going to be about the safety of chiropractic x-rays. This is a study that was written by some CBP docs, including Deed Harrison, and whenever he writes something, you know you have to read it. Another is going to be about atraumatic back pain. And the last one is going to be a case study and review of literature on Crohn's disease published earlier this year in the Annals of Vertebral Subluxation. So I'm going to start off with safety of chiropractic x-rays because this is something that with recent publications, recommendations by the ACA regarding diagnostic use of chiropractic x-rays in clinics, I find really important, and they do such a fantastic job of breaking this down. Now, in terms of safety, this is, once again, I'm going to go pull up the study right here. This is something that is published, again, in the Annals of Vertebral Subluxation last week, March 10th, or a couple days ago, March 10th, 2018. We jumped right on it. In terms of safety, I really love the way that they just applied logic to the principle. Basically, it looks at how the risk of x-rays, of diagnostic, therapeutic x-rays, of any sort of radiation is calculated. And the way that that is calculated by the what is the name of the society? By the Commission of Radiological Protection is by they looked at extrapolating data from the amount of radiation used in a bomb blast such as Hiroshima. Okay. And what they did was they took that and they said, okay, well, if we look at this linearly, right, let's say X millirems is the amount of radiation that's emitted and it caused this much cancer, right? Well, if we do 50% of the radiation, that means it's going to cause 50% of the risk. If we do 25% of the radiation, it's going to cause 25% of the risk. 10% is 10%, 1% is 1%. And they basically created a linear diagram, which when we first were understanding, or when scientists were first and physicists were first understanding how radiation actually affected the human body and seeing the damage that came from a bomb blast like that, that was their best of knowledge at the time. However, what we've found, or what they've found, is that the actual risk isn't linear. It's not 50-50, 10-10, etc. There is a minimum dose necessary that is required to actually cause damage, right? That minimum dose is well above what diagnostic x-rays is. The Commission of Radiological Protection actually comes out and says that the lowest amount possible is 100 MSV. Okay, and for low doses, any damage from that is speculative. It's unproven. It's undetectable, and it's phantom. Basically, what they're saying is that in the diagnostic X-ray setting, a single exposure is not going to be enough to cause any long-term damage, especially from cancer, right? Because the two real effects of radiation exposure are cancer and immediate death. And of course, obviously, immediate death isn't happening from what we're being exposed to in a chiropractic office. However, cancer over time is something that we would want to see. If the exposure will cause that. Now, this is looking at single dose. It's not necessarily looking at long-term lifetime accumulation, but that's just something to keep in mind. The other reasons, and the docs in the paper actually go ahead and they list a list of 10 reasons why. I'm going to read the title of the paper. Radiogenic cancer risk from chiropractic x-rays are 0. 10 reasons to take routine radiographs in clinical practice. Dr. Oakley and Dr. Harrison write, number 1, there is no harm to the patient. No data exists supporting x-rays induce cancers. That's what we just explored. Next, contemporary spine care methods necessitate it. Now, obviously, these guys are writing about CBP, which does great x-ray analysis. So, of course, their technique is going to require that as well. And I mean, no matter what technique you use, even myself, with TRT, you can still look at the angles of the facets and make sure you're actually giving a line of drive, a line of correction in the proper angle, which is huge. Radiographic information leads to better patient outcomes is number 3. Number 4 is going to be incidental findings are important. Basically what they're mentioning is, hey, this isn't something that we were looking for necessarily, but we see this mass on here. Maybe it wasn't clinically indicated. We see this mass. This is something that's important, and give proper referral recommendations, et cetera, with that. 5, increased patient satisfaction. The more thorough that we are in our analysis, the more highly satisfied the patient is. And that's not only because of outcomes, because they know that they're in good hands. 6, completes a thorough examination, just what I was talking about. 7, satisfies practitioner medical legal liability concerns. Yes. 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 8, costs are minimal. The cost of an x-ray is usually less than $100, with a chest x-ray being $59. It's a minimal. 9, alternative methods do not convey appropriate biomechanical information. Right. If you're relying on palpation to tell you exactly what's happening underneath the skin, underneath the musculature, you're missing out. 10, possible patient health enhancements via hormesis. Now, this is funny for a number 10. Basically, what they're saying is that we might actually have a positive beneficial effect of being exposed to radiation from time to time. I'll let that one kind of sit with you guys. Definitely check out that paper from the Annals of Vertebral Subluxation. The next paper that we're going to look at is atraumatic pain. This is published in 2016 by not a chiropractor, but Dr. Evans, who's a PhD. The title of the article is The Origin of Atraumatic Neuromusculoskeletal Pain, and it was published in the Chiropractic Journal of Australia. Just kind of going through here right in the introduction, something that's really stuck out to me is the fact that 90% of low back pain, of chronic pain in the world, United States, Australia, is actually non-specified. It's not due to a specific injury, not due to a specific whiplash injury, a football injury, a car accident, whatever it is. It's non-specified, whether it's from repetitive injury that we can't really say, hey, this is the number, or this is the exact cause and effect, right? Or whether it's just phantom, it just comes up. Whatever it is, 90%, which is higher than I thought, is actually non-specified. So this paper actually goes ahead and explores different mechanisms regarding pain, or what could be causing this. And I just really enjoyed just remembering that, nociception itself is not something, is not pain, right? While that signal's going up to the brain interprets that as pain. So if we have a muscle contraction due to a spinal segment dysfunction, misalignment, subluxation, whatever you want to refer to it in this case, there is going to be nociceptive, proprioceptive information that goes up to the brain that needs to be interpreted as pain. When we have this muscular contraction, it's going to impede the lymph flow of lymphatics through that area, right? Which is going to increase nociception as well, which is going to allow the brain to actually perceive that as pain. By providing a specific scientific chiropractic adjustment to correct this, right, to take tension off of the nervous system to allow the body to heal and function, what we are literally doing is correcting the cause of improper information reaching the brain that is being perceived as pain, right? When there is no information that's going to the brain to be perceived that way, then that is going to disappear. So pain in itself is not anything other than a neurological projection, essentially, of interpretation of specific information as pain, the same way that you or I, when vibrations hit the bones in our ear, transmutes a signal up to the brain, which is perceived and interpreted as sound. Pain is the exact same thing. So it's something that's important to keep in mind, that our goal here isn't just the muscles. It isn't just the ligaments. It's not that. It's actually correcting tension in the nervous system, interference in the nervous system. And by correcting that, because the nervous system controls and coordinates the function of every system in the entire body, any improvement in nociception, proprioception, et cetera, is going to affect this function of every entire system in the body. Our last is in the Annals of Vertebral Subluxation, once again, from earlier this year, is a case study and review of literature on Crohn's disease. This was just a great case study. A 60-year-old male diagnosed with Crohn's disease. For years, he had been experiencing abdominal pain and cramping, diarrhea, stiffness all over his body, and an overall sick feeling. that just sounds rough. And Crohn's disease is, it's an inflammatory bowel disease that affects anywhere from the mouth all the way down through the anus. So any part of the digestive organ is just going to become inflamed, painful, etc. IBD in itself typically breaks down to Crohn's disease or a diverticulitis. But specifically here, we're looking at Crohn's disease. So this guy has just been overall feeling sick, right? Because if we have issue with one system in the body, it's going to affect all the others. So if his digestive system isn't functioning well, his immune system isn't going to be functioning well, his heart, lungs, etc., aren't going to be functioning well, and all of those are controlled by the nervous system. Now, in this case study specifically, what they did was they looked at a functional nutrition program alongside chiropractic as well. But essentially what they mentioned was that after his second visit, his second adjustment, all of his years of digestive symptoms had actually resolved, which is absolutely amazing. He was able to come off all of the medications that he had been taking for years. And at the time of writing, which I believe was 5 years after the actual case, he was still 100% symptom free. So with this, just go ahead and know that, right? Once again, because the brain, the nervous system control and coordinate the function of every system in the entire body, right? By correcting any interference in the nerve system, the body is going to heal and function better, regardless of the symptom. If you guys want to check that out, that is Complete Remission of Crohn's Disease Following Subluxation-Centered Chiropractic Care, a case report and review of the literature. That's by Dr. Phillips and Dr. Wilt. Dr. Wilt is actually somebody I went to school with, and that's from the Annals of Vertebral Subluxation Research, published earlier this year in 2018. If you guys have any requests for any specific research you'd like to see broken down, like us to explore any specific topics, some people came on or said they wanted to see allergies, they wanted to see comparison of medical versus chiropractic stats. Basically, with chiropractic, can we see less medications, etc. I'm looking at any specific statistics there, looking at morbidity and mortality numbers for individuals who have been under long-term chiropractic care as well. If there's any specific research studies or topics you would like us to explore, please go ahead, post it in the comments on Facebook, shoot us an email to team@chiroedgemedia.com. And if you want to continue receiving, or if you want to receive a free trial of actually getting these newsletters, 3 newsletters a week to your inbox, please visit chiroedgemedia.com. Jump on that free trial. I'm Dr. Anthony Pellegrino from ChiroEdge. Looking forward to continue providing you guys with subluxation only, subluxation focused, subluxation centered chiropractic research and breaking it down so you guys can utilize that in your practice, increase your authority and increase your certainty. Have a great day, guys. Thanks for watching.